Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Well, today another treat from ICM, another new kit they brought out. Again, Vietnam themed Huey Cobra attack helicopter. And this time it's the early production version of the 1G. Now you may recall recently we saw the late production version, which has got that extension onto the exhaust, which ducted the heat up into the rotor blades to try and dissipate it, to save them from surface-to-air missiles during the war. This is a little bit earlier, sort of a year or two earlier, and it's got the most wonderful artwork. If you actually look very close, I'm just going to zoom in again on this. Have a look at this artwork. I was quite impressed by this. If you look carefully in the background, it's on an American base in Vietnam or Thailand. And you can clearly see on the left there are Thunder Chiefs that are in these like a revetment protection area. And on the right there are F-104 Freedom Fighters, and was there something else I saw? I'm sure there was another aircraft I spotted there. Was it Thunder Chiefs again? Thunder Chiefs in the middle. But really interesting the way they've done that art. I'm quite impressed with that. So, quite a bit of what we've got here in the 135th, of course, again. Quite a lot of this kit we have actually seen in different guys already. So, yeah, we don't need to perhaps dwell on all of it in that much detail. But it's nice to see this again, going back to the artwork, the Playboy. It's very much the Apocalypse Now style, isn't it? Look at the Playboy bunnies that are on this chopper. It's got the Playboy logo here and the bunny rabbit here. So it does bring to mind that Apocalypse Now Vietnam War movie. And others, of course, and others. So having a look on the side, first of all it's kit number 53030. Provided by ICM for me to review, at no charge I should stress, which is very kind of them. We've got 5 different variants in terms of decal options. Very nice. It doesn't give a lot of detail on the side of it, fair. But let's have a read of the actual data which they provided very helpfully. It says here, the widespread use of multi-purpose helicopters in Vietnam to provide fire support of ground units was the reason for the development of the Specialist Attack Helicopter. Bell began its development in the spring of 1965, and in September the first prototype became operational. The production AH-1G Cobra began rolling off the assembly line by June of 1967. And in the fall of the same year they began combat operations in Vietnam. Didn't take long, did it? The built-in armament of the first production 1G Cobras consisted of a 6-barrel minigun mounted in the nose. So this is the, because it's the early version, it's got the single gun in the nose. And under fuselage turret. Sorry, in the nose under fuselage turret, I should say. A 40mm automatic grenade launcher was added later. Now we saw that, didn't we, on the other kit, and it may be on the sprues here. We'll have a look at it. The pylons were additionally equipped with blocks with unguided missiles and machine gun containers, and the possibility of suspending a powerful 20mm 6-barreled automatic cannon was added. So that was like the Vulcan cannon. Wow. The gunner in the front seat controlled the fire of the built-in weapons in the nose turret, and the pilot used weapons located on the wing pylons. Gosh, didn't know that. Lightweight steel armour with a total weight of 122 kilograms was used to protect the crew and the most important parts of the structure from ground fire. And I should just stress this again, going back to the artwork. Let's have one final look at this. Look at the pilots here, and you will see either side of them these big armour plates. See them? Look at that. Just at shoulder height to protect them from fire from the ground. Wow. I mean, that's proper armour plate, isn't it? Jeez. Right, so. Okay, so without further ado, we'll have a look at what we've got here. Well, let's go. Not opened it before. Completely new, just arrived from Kyiv. Let's see what we have. Oh. the real question you're all wondering now is, will he be able to get it out of the box? Because I have had problems with that recently, haven't I, in fairness? There we go. Right, that's all the tape dealt with. And the secret with these, as I've learned, is not to put it flat, but to put it vertical like this. And edge it out like so with my famous black rubber gloves. A gentleman actually contacted me a couple of days ago about the rubber gloves, and he asked the question, said, can I ask you what the reason is why you wear the rubber gloves? Is it maybe it's the same problem that I suffer from myself? And I had to say, no, actually I'm not suffering from anything really. It's just my OCD about touching the kits, and I prefer to not have bare hands on them, and that's the real reason, to be honest. And some of you have actually met me in person and know that I've got perfectly normal hands, thank you very much. Ooh, actually there's a lot less kit in here than I was expecting. It seems to be quite a lot of space. But anyway, it's big, I'll tell you that, it's big. Right then, so I'm going to pop that over there out of the way for the moment. Open like so. And let's have a look. Now remember, we have reviewed this already basically in another form in the late version, but let's have a look at what we've got here, starting with the decals. Oh, okay. And we've got some interesting, we've got some great artwork here, some real funny stuff. But I'm just a little bit surprised. Is that the only decal sheet in it? What I'm surprised about is the Playboy logo doesn't appear. I wonder if that's because of licensing reasons. Have a look. The Playboy logo that I just showed you on the nose of the chopper. Am I missing something? It doesn't seem to be here. They've got the logo of the bunny rabbit, but the actual the words Playboy does not appear. So I suspect that's a licensing issue, which is odd. Some rather interesting graphics and things here. What are they on about, really? Interesting. But yeah, Playboy bunny logos, but that's it. No, that's clearly something to do with copyright, I suspect. And yet it's in the artwork, so you know, if they got away with it in the artwork, why would they not include it? I'm not sure, I might ask the question. But beautiful decals and stencils, plenty of them. Yeah, impressive. You can see the instrumentation, the difference between the gunner's instruments, which I'm pretty sure is the small one, and then the main pilot's instruments, which is the big one. Okay, so a bit of a mystery there on that Playboy thing, but anyway, not to worry. Okay, so here we go, the several parts that you're not going to use. So for example, you don't use the part where the rotor, the rear rotor, tail rotor is on the starboard side. The early version only has it on the port side, in fact. So, and there's different of the little side wings that are weapons carriers. They're different as well. Quite a few different weapons and things that you're not going to use. But anyway, I'm going to flash through this really fast now because we have seen it before, basically. So, yep, within the seats for the gunner and the pilot there, going into the tub here, and then all the controls of the yoke for the pilot and the gunner. It's interesting that the gunner seems to have what looks like almost a more traditional yoke control than the pilot has. He has more like a joystick. Then we're going to build up our instrumentation for both pilot and gunner here, popping that in to the cockpit tub, and then we're building up the engine. And the main rotating, the bearing for the main rotor is there, all being brought together with a swash plate. Oops, swash plate there. Then we're going to build up our cockpit sides, fuselage sides I should say, and then you bring in that tail, which I hope is going to be a good join. And then yes, as I mentioned, you only have it on the port side, the tail rotor in this particular version. That's not that they have it on both sides, but some of them have it on the starboard. Then you're bringing in your engine into the fuselage here. Bringing also all the cockpit into the fuselage, and the armour plating goes in there, as you can see, the big plates. Bringing in both halves of the fuselage, and again, armour plating going in there on the opposite side. Navigation lights going in. Then we've got our nose being brought in onto the front here, complete with pitot head and headlights. The underside of the fuselage goes on there. Then we've got the armour plated areas to protect them. And then we have got, now this is where we've got the different variants. So we've got the very early variant with the single gun, and then we've got the gun and the grenade launcher option. And you end up with these two turrets that you can choose from depending on which version you're going to build. And then we've got the tip of the tail going on here. You've got your exhaust pipe exit here, and this is the one that's so different on the late version, of course. Then you've got your little winglets on the side being built up, which are going to be you call them winglets or sponsons, if you will, for mounting of your weapons. And then you've got the tail horizontal stabilisers going on there. And then you're going to build up your big electric cannon. Look at that. What's wicked. And then you've got these little pods that go on the side for the surrounding the cannon here. And you've got some reinforcement here for where the skid plates, the landing skids are going to go. You've got a couple of vents at the back, and then you've got various small parts, looks like they're fittings and lights and things going in here. Instructions are very clear though, despite having very little English in them. And then you've got your actual skids going on, landing skids going on there. Then you're going to do your cockpit, complete with a mirror. It's a gun sight, I should say. And then that's going to be fitted onto the top of the fuselage. And then you bring in your side windows. Armour plated side windows coming in here and here. I'm just going to go back to have a bit more light here. Is that better? Yes, I think so. And then again, opposite side, armour plated glass, and the windows open to give access as a door, don't you? You've got your cowling covers over your engine going in there. Same on the opposite side. Then we're going to build up our rotor blades onto the main bearing plate, central plate. Bringing those in, complete with the pitch control devices there, rods. And it's fitting onto the swash plate and going straight into the actual top of the engine fitting, drive shaft as it were. And then you've got your ground handling sort of dolly wheels here, and they get fitted onto the skids. And then we've got some tow hooks for, again, ground handling tow rods going in there. And then, and this is a bit easier than that Sally bomber that we talked about recently, and then we've got our mask templates, which should be fairly straightforward on this one, I think. And then you get your weapons that go on the outboard wing stroke sponsons, and you've got like M200 rocket launcher, a gun pod, which is basically a Vulcan cannon, M260 or XM158, which are basically Zuni rockets, I think. And then you've just here, I quite like this. This is where we've got the showing you how the loadouts work and the various options of how it all goes on, which is brilliant. Really like it. So, scheme-wise, remember it's a very thin-looking helicopter when seen from above, isn't it? Quite a small surface area in terms of a target. And we've got the Playboys, Ben Hoa in 1967. Interesting name. And then we've got the, what's this? The 227th. Is that the Marines? No. The Gambler. And then over on this side we've got another option, which is the 20th Aerial Rocket Artillery, at Tay Nin in 1970. I think they could have printed these a bit brighter. It's very low. I mean, if you're thinking it looks a bit low key, it's very low key. Yeah, it's actually quite hard to read some of the decals that are going on there. And then we've got the 114th Aerial HC. What's that? Aerial Cavalry, is it? Vinlong, and that's in 1970. And then finally we've got the AHB, 227th AHB, Airborne. What does the HB stand for? Come on, there must be some Americans amongst you that know this. And that's, it just says Vietnam 1970. So quite a selection of marking options there. Yeah, there's a lot to go at, to be fair. Very impressive. Yeah, just wish they were a little bit brighter the way that they printed those. It makes them very quite hard to read along to be honest. One big bag. And there are some sprues that are multiples, so we'll only take one out of each one of those. Let's take them all out to start with, isn't it? And put them back. Yep. So, leave that over there. And we have here, first of all, basically a weapon sprue. Look at this. This is a big one, isn't it? This is huge. Now then, where to begin? So, we've got all these rocket pods that we've just been speaking about. And you can see the front and rear of them. And you can see the multiple rocket tubes there. Over here is the one that's like the this is the Vulcan cannon, sort of an aero pack that goes around it. That's the electric cannon, and here is one of those cannons. Look at that. That's a mighty looking thing, isn't it? Wow. And there, where my finger is, that's the end where the barrels are. Rotating electric cannon. Think of Arnie in Terminator 2, he carried one of these around, didn't he? Basically over his shoulder, effectively. Quite a remarkable weapon. And then over here we've got various of the small parts. We've got a lot of tiny parts. Beautiful moulding going on here. Very crisp, very flash free. Oh, very nicely configured. Here, that's the small electric gun that's in the turret at the front. Yeah, very, very nice. Very nice sprue indeed. You got some, I think those are the towing hooks at the bottom to do with the ground handling rods. That's that one. Then we have got these big sprue here, and this has got these tails on. This is the one you don't use, the one that's got the starboard side rotor, tail rotor. This is the one you will use over here. And here we've got our two different types of turret. I mean, this is look how big it is. You know, it's a big meaty turret. And at the other end we've got the twin one. So that's a slightly later version of the early production, so to speak. Then you've got your bits of your nose there. You've got these very finely detailed little winglets that go on the side, hold the weapons. Down here we've got the actual rotor itself, the rotor blade. Some lovely detail on these. Very, very nice. Although, we actually have a fault. Can you see this? We've got a fault. Look at this side here. It's got these plates, strengthening plates. But this side, it actually sort of has it's got a slight moulding issue, slight quality issue there. I'll have to bring that to ICM's attention. Can you see it? Can you see the difference there and there? One side's got, you can see that they are very finely, crisply defined. Then over on this side, less so. It sort of fades away a little bit. Something's gone wrong in the mould. Definitely needs a little bit of attention, that. So I'll point that out to ICM. I mean, this is the beauty, obviously, when we're I'm reviewing it for them. Yeah, but it may just be a one-off. It could just be it's almost like a short shot, isn't it? Or something's come out of the mould a little bit wrong. I don't remember that being on the earlier review that I did, having that issue. That wasn't there. It just sort of goes all smooth, doesn't it? It shouldn't do. It should be more defined. Anyway, I'll move on to the other. I won't knock it a point off because I'm sure that's a one-off. I think that's just an issue on this particular one. Then we've got our, over here we've got our landing skids, look, and there's two different variants there. I'm pretty sure it's this one that we use on the early versions. Then over here you can clearly see this is the armour plated underside of the fuselage, which is quite long, of course, and runs for, well, most of the length of the main aircraft until you get to the tail. The parts of the engine over here. Then we've got these towing rods for towing the vehicle, the helicopter around on the ground. We've got part of the swash plate mechanism here. Yeah. And then we've got the little pylons for the weapons here and here. Very nice. And this is one part that you won't use, and we talked about this before. This is the exhaust ducting, which is on the later version rather than the early production. They decided that they were getting hit by too many ground-to-air missiles, and it was because the exhaust was too obvious. And then, last of the big grey sprues, we've got the main fuselage, and it's absolutely huge, isn't it? Look at it compared to my hand. This is a big kit, yeah? Look at that, that's massive. Very nice chopper. You've got your seats here, which look exquisitely comfortable, it must be said. Look at those. That's really nice seats, complete with fancy headrests. We've got the rear sort of bulkhead here. Whoops. With this sort of diamond pattern in it, like padding. And then we've got the main cockpit tub here. And then of course we've got the opposite side, you know, for this because it's so big. The opposite side, the port side fuselage. Beautiful details on the side. You've got lots of raised rivets all along here, feels very contoured, you know, very realistic. Oh, it's really nice, really nice. And no faults there. I think what I might do with tell ICM about this problem on that rotor blade, just ask them to send the part. You know, they send the whole sprue, don't they? Or another kit or anything. They can just send me that part, rotor. It's very unfortunate, that. Anyway, the clear parts. Last but not least, and I've got to tell you that these are stunningly good. Look at this. They're absolutely beautiful. Look at those. Those are nice. Well, that's proper, that is. And there's the main top of the canopy, so to speak. Isn't that nice? Oh, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. That's a lovely clear sprue, got to say. That's absolutely flawless, that, because we have had one or two issues which ICM have sorted very quickly, but on the Cossack, the MRAP, they soon fixed it there, they just sent new parts. So maybe they can do that with that rotor blade. It's a shame, isn't it, because it's such an outstanding kit. I'm not going to hold that against it. I think it's just probably just a one-off unique to this particular one. It's perhaps just been... Maybe it was taken out of the mould a bit too quickly or something like that. Or... I'm just going to satisfy myself with the bigger glasses, because I haven't got the benefit that you've got as you're looking at it. You're seeing it with 20 times zoom. It's not actually as bad as I thought, but it's definitely not the same on both sides. Or is it just the lighting? I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh on this. Maybe I've been a bit harsh on it actually. It doesn't seem as defined though as it did on the other kit. I might have to just compare the two actually. Seems to fade away a bit, doesn't it? I think I might be being a bit harsh actually. I think I'm going to retract that criticism. But I will do a comparison because it does seem, especially at certain angles in the light, it does rather seem to be as though the mould fades out a bit, as though it wasn't, perhaps it wasn't quite at high enough pressure or something. Not sure. Anyway, I have to say it's a very beautiful kit that, and if you build it, it's quite big. It's going to have a real presence, you know. And we've been talking about a lot of on my channel, a lot of Vietnam subjects recently. We've had all sorts about Sky Raiders and Broncos and MiGs and you name it. Our friend David provided us with quite a number of interesting kits from various manufacturers actually. And of course we've had a huge range from ICM of really nice Vietnam era stuff. So yeah, I'm going to ignore that issue I think we had there. Just doesn't seem quite as defined as I expected compared to the previous experience, but I'm not sure it's actually faulty. It may just be the way it looks in the light here. But anyway, there we go. So I don't think you're going to find another nicer Cobra model from any other manufacturer. You know, go and find another that's better than that. I don't think you will. I think I'm going to give it 9.5 out of 10. There's lots of data, there's lots of detail. You know, the only thing that would make it better really, perhaps a little bit more descriptive data in the instructions and some figures. But ICM do these figures anyway, you can get them, that's the beauty. They don't do them in the kit, granted. But there's a whole range of helicopter figures, and we're going to be reviewing the set that would go with this very, very soon, actually, in the near future. So just hold your fire on the figures because there's more to come there. So I'm going to give it a very credible 9.5 out of 10. I think I was perhaps being a little bit harsh. With the bigger glasses, it didn't look quite as serious as I thought it was. Perhaps I need to clean my glasses or something. Very impressive kit though. Beautifully packaged, great boxing, fantastic artwork. And the plastic is just gorgeous, you know. The only other thing was this Playboy logo was missing, and that clearly must have been it's almost like one of these things that we had with Matchbox where there was one or two issued. I'm trying to remember which one it was, but Roy Huxley drew something and then got told they couldn't do that, and they had to start rubbing out things. But they haven't done that here, granted, but it's just a shame because that would have been quite nice to see that. But anyway, a fantastic model. Recommend that kit to you. You've got 5 options. You're not going to go wrong. You've got all those different weapon options as well. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. So thank you to ICM for providing the kit. 9.5 out of 10 from me. Hope you'll give me 10 out of 10. Please give us a thumbs up, a like, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to ding that notification bell and select the all option to make sure you get every possibility of seeing the latest kits that I upload, the latest videos I should say, of the latest kits, because occasionally people have had issues if they haven't dinged the all, and YouTube starts trying to second guess what you might or might not like. I mean, if you don't like it, that's fine, but I don't think you should not be given the option. I think it should be for you to decide, really. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you found it interesting. Thank you very much to ICM for providing that wonderful kit, and there'll be more of those to come in the not too distant future. And until next time, thanks very much for joining me and for all your time watching the video. Please stay well, stay safe. And until next time, thanks a lot, and bye for now.